Hello everybody, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today it's actually pretty nice out. It's middle of March and it's 70 degrees out here. It's a big change from how it's been recently, but it's alright. Today I'm going to be working on my dad's F-150. This is a 1990 Ford F-150, and recently we've been having a problem where it's got a little bit of a shimmy to it. When you're driving down the road, it just shakes a lot, and to me it seems like the rear brakes are just locking themselves up. So I think they may be out of adjustment. There could be that something's just coming apart in there. Could also be that we got a bearing or something that's going out. So I'm gonna go get my floor jack. I'm gonna jack up the rear end. I'm gonna put some wheel chocks underneath the front tires up here, and we're going to try and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. Alrighty, I have the floor jack underneath the rear axle. I got my wheel chocks here. Put them underneath the front wheels so it doesn't roll. And I'm going to jack up the rear end. Just have the jack sitting on the rear end there. And there's a puppy dog. And then I'm going to take some jack stands, and they're going to go underneath the frame on each side. So I've actually decided, because of how high up the frame goes in this, I'm going to put the jack stands underneath the axle. But before I do that, I am going to wiggle each wheel up in the air here. And I'm going to try and see if there's any movement possibly in the wheel bearing here. None there. Let's go to the other side, check the other side. Can't hardly tell if that one's good too. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower it back down till the wheels touch. I'm going to loosen all the lug nuts on both sides, and then I'm going to jack it back up, put it on jack stands, and we'll investigate. Alrighty, got both sides loose, time to go up. I believe our problem is probably coming from the other side, but I'm going to start over here. Okay, so I got my chair now. This drum is definitely very, very rusty. But, you know, that's just the outside, you know. It doesn't feel like it's got a whole lot of force on it, but it's definitely hung up somehow. There we go. Broke her loose. Alrighty, let's take a look in here. doesn't look too bad in here. I did replace these shoes not horribly long ago. Yeah. I don't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with this side. Play's not horrible. Alright, let's put this side back together. I'll move on to the other side. Maybe the problem's on the other side. Okay. This one I'm not going to bother putting it underneath. I'm just going to trust for it to sit right there. So one thing that I forgot about on this, if it's not going to be here, I'm willing to guess it's probably this rubber brake line right here, because it's never been replaced. So there's a good chance that that has collapsed internally and is causing that. This side is definitely much tighter. Hanging up here somewhere. What's up with that? So this drum is slightly grooved. But it doesn't look horrid. Definitely have a greasy wheel seal. Not too bad. I'm gonna put it back together. I don't see anything wrong here either. So now it's all back together. Both the wheels are on it, which I could have done this with the wheels off. That rubber brake line I showed you earlier. My next suspicion is that it has collapsed inside. They tend to do that after they get so old. They just break down because they're rubber and they'll collapse inside. I've actually several of the vehicles that we have here I've had to replace because of that. So my sister's in the truck. What I'm gonna have her do, I'm gonna have her while I'm turning the wheel, I'm gonna have her hit the brakes, ensure that the brakes are actually working, which they should, and then I'm gonna have her let off of the brakes, and when she lets off, I should be able to turn the tire almost immediately. If I have to keep pulling and it takes a long time for me to be able to turn the tire again, that's a good indication that your brake line has collapsed or something in your wheel cylinders have gone bad. These wheel cylinders aren't very old. They're just a few years old. I replaced them not long ago. But typically when the wheel cylinders go bad, you notice a leak and your brakes will not work. But so I'm just gonna go ahead, spin the wheel like so. Kyla, go ahead and hit the brakes. You hitting the brakes?
Yep.
All right, and I can't turn it. Let it off. Okay, well, do it again. Let off. Oh, it's harder that time. Are you off?
Yeah.
All right, so it's harder that time. That's telling me. Are you off?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't hardly turn that tire at all right there. That's telling me that the brakes are not disengaging all the way. Now I'm going to do the same test, but I'm going to do it on the other side. And if it feels exactly the same on the other side, brakes just aren't disengaging all the way. And the suspect I'm looking into is that rubber line. Hello everybody. It's been a couple days. I've been waiting on some parts and they finally came in. I got the truck jacked back up, got jack standing underneath the axle. Tires are off of it, which are sitting underneath the frame. That way, if a jack stand or the jack fails, which the jack's still underneath the car, underneath the truck, but that way if something fails, it lands on the tire, not me. But I got my new brake line. I got the majority of the tools I'm gonna need. A couple different wrenches, possible pry bar, some pliers. But I got my new brake line. Looks like this is probably gonna be a pain in the rear, just because it's kind of rusty in some spots. It's gonna be very hard for me to film this for you guys. Way back here, this is the brake line right here. So it's got a T-fitting way down here. One line comes off to this driver's side wheel and the other one goes off to the other side. So I need to take both of those off. I'm going to do those two last. And I also got to take this breather off here. And then up top, right over here, there's another section of the brake line. It looks like this, right here. So it's going to have a clip on it. And then it's also going to have a spot to put a wrench up top and a spot to put it on the bottom here, depending on how you want to hold it. But we need to take the line out of the end of it up top here, which looks like it's probably going to be a 7/16 line. But I'm going to try and set up the camera the best I can so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll make no promises though. Okay, so got it off after lots of frustration. Whacked it a bunch with the pry bar. Well, tried it with pulling the clip off with the pry bar. To which that did not work. So
I heated it up several times, hit it with WD-40 several times, whacked it with a chisel and a hammer a bunch, and then got a giant chisel, and the giant chisel finally worked. I was able to get underneath it and pry it up off of it, and then got out this. I pulled it down, hooked my vice grips up to the stripped out piece, and got it off. Now I got the new one on. So now I need to shove it back up there, put a clip in. I ended up accidentally bending the new clip like crazy. So it's not getting a new clip. The old clip's getting used because the old clip isn't as badly torn up as this one is. Oh, now I just gotta get this thing back in here. So I've made it back from the parts store, and I got my new brake line. So ended up I was not able to get one that had the two different sized fittings on each end like I needed. So I got one of the fittings I needed, which is it's on both ends. I have an adapter. I'm just gonna go on the end here. Gonna thread on to there, no problem. So, what I need to do, thread this adapter into that block, and I need to bend this line to go around the leaf spring and go back to where it needs to be. So I'm gonna put this in first, and then I'm gonna do the brake line, bend the brake line. Okay guys, so there's a couple different ways you can bleed your brakes. You can have someone in the cab of the vehicle pumping the brakes, and they'll hold it down. You'll crack the line open, and when the pedal goes to the floor, you close it back up and you do it again until a bunch of the fluid, until you start getting straight streams of fluid. Personally, I have one of these brake bleeding tools. This end will go over the bleeder. I'll pump up vacuum, and then it'll suck fluid through the lines instead. This way I can do it by myself. So I've been bleeding the brakes on the rear here. The brakes are feeling very good. What you're wanting to do is wait until you have a solid stream of brake fluid coming out of the bleeders, which the bleeders are just on the back side here, which I guess I could show you that real quick. So I can put this down here without, okay. So let me see here. So the bleeders are right back here where this guy's hooked to. They'll also be on the top of your calipers. If you have disc brakes. These are drums. What you're wanting is if you're bleeding it by pushing the brake down and doing this and opening the bleeder, you want a solid stream of fluid. With this, you're gonna notice a sound difference. It's not gonna sound like it's full of bubbles. It's going to sound more like a solid stream of liquid, and that's really what you're looking for. Well, guys, got it all put back together. Ended up diagnosing the reason why the rear brakes were locking up to being a rubber brake line that had collapsed. Judging off how hard it was to get this one out, probably has been there since the factory. But got it out in the process. Accidentally broke one of our lines here, so I had to replace it too. But got everything bled now, and brakes seem to work. And the rear brakes aren't locked up anymore, so that's nice. I got it all put back together. I got some other stuff I'm gonna work on tomorrow. I'm gonna film another video on it, so I'm not gonna put the tires on yet. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.